everyone, and welcome to the grand final episode of Apotheosis. We're going to be dancing with the devil, drinking with the living dead, and making sure the devil does the good deeds and treats his own well. Before we go around and say hello to everyone, thank you very much, Durza Black, who donates some biddies to have the first advantage for free. There's an advantage in the pot. Also, shout outs from the last stream. I got contacted about who Feels Spooky Man was. It was Feels Timmy Man. It wasn't just a Pepe meme. It was Feels Timmy meme. It was a Feels Timmy meme. So Feels Timmy has gifted an advantage to each of us. They had gifted 5 in the last episode. There's only 4 of us, so that means there are 2 in the wood, as it were. 2 free advantages in the wood. Happy birthday, person in the birthday whose I haven't seen yet because I haven't scrolled up enough. Tater, it's going to be your birthday before the end of the session. Happy birthday, Gwen. Things. Social links. Check out our social links. You can see our Discord where we all come and share all the things that we do and all the wonderful things. Come and be a part of the community. Just click that button. Also check out our Twitter where you can also see our regular tweets. I've suddenly got hiccups. You can also see our regular tweets. We put out something like 6 tweets a day, 7, 8 tweets a day, 9 tweet, 10. Who counts? Who counts these things?
Tastiest memes, Scrat. You put out the tastiest memes.
Spicy meatballs! Come and check them out. And if you want to get into a game next season, either like this or similar to this, you can send me a DM on Twitter. Hey, Jay, there we go. Hey, Jay, how you doing? Also, check out our YouTube where you can catch up on this and all the other shows. You can get a taste for what the Academy's like and catch up with things, all the great things. Also, do go and check out the tweet. Retweet the tweet, let everyone know where you are and what you're watching. Let them come and tune in for the finale. Don't worry about them not seeing the rest of the thing, the rest of the campaign, because I'm sure they'll watch this and be like, hey, I need to go and watch the rest, which would be great. Also, check out our sponsors. The Deck of Many. You've heard of the Deck of Many Things. You've heard of the Deck of Many Anime Spell Slots, I hope, because I was preaching about it all last month. Now check out Humblewood, third-party content for 5e. It's going to be available from November, so you can go and pre-order it now and get your own hardback copy. Talking of hardback copies of books, our other sponsor is Mage Hand Press, and they created some more third-party content which allows space gameplay for 5e called Dark Matter. Word on the street is that by December time, they will be releasing their hardback cover of that same book. And at PAX U, we will be working the Mage Hand Press booth, so feel free to come and say hi to us there. I think that's all the things. Mackenzie. The hour is now.
One last time,
the reckoning is due.
the reckoning. Oh boy, one last time. All right. I can't get emotional. I have to be the devil. But hi, I am Mackenzie Lady on Twitter. You can call me Mac. I am all clinkety clackety because I am wearing leather for tonight. But for the last time, I will be your dungeon master for tonight. But if you enjoy my dungeon mastering and my specific brand of absolute chaos bullshit, check out One-on-One D&D at One-on-One D&D on Twitter. I DM for my partner Dennis Aldea in a pirate-themed world. It's a less like sailing and more like heists and chaos. Scrat Accountant is canon, if anyone missed that. And it's super fun. Next episode comes out next Tuesday, so I will still be in the DM seat somewhere off in the ether. Also check out my writing on DM's Guild and on Itch.io. I just published Canal's Candy and Compendium at the beginning of this month, and it is perfect for any Halloween games you have because it's a bunch of magical candies you can do for adventuring trick-or-treaters, whether they are small kids, like children players or children characters, or just adventurers who just really want some sweets. I also got my first editing credit this morning as I edited for Wrong Turn Dragon Heist, a wonderful supplement to people who are playing Waterdeep Dragon Heist and have a party that, takes a left turn and just doesn't do what the adventure accounts for. I believe it was written by this really, really awesome person, awesome player, absolutely brilliant creator. I think his name is Joshua Barbeau. I feel like that's also a really good segue. Oh, hi, Joshua.
Oh, hi. That was your first editing credit?
Yeah, I've never edited before.
You knocked it out of the park. So if anyone's looking for an editor and they don't want to hire me because I'm an editor, you should definitely hire Mackenzie because she is a fantastic editor. I gave her a document for Wrong Turn Dragon Heist that was
it was upwards of 30,000, and I believe
it was
I cut
30,000
out 10,000
words.
words.
And we cut it down to 20,000 because I write a lot.
I
write
have
too
no
much.
mercy.
I
I feel like that's the bigger thing.
Talking of all this stuff, though, like talking of segues to people and things, I hope you all have a link for me to put in the chat here. Get that link out. Yeah.
I will find the link. You finish introducing yourself.
It will come somewhere. Yes. So my name is Joshua Barbo. You can find me on Twitter at Joshua Barbo. Right now, I am DMing Monday nights in a stream on Raven's channel. Twitch TV, not our Raven, different Raven. Twitch TV, twitch.tv/RAVVYN, I think. And that's a game called The Peasants Strike Back. You can also see me here at Apotheosis, which is ending, and I'm super sad. But I'm sure I'll be back on Scratticus' channel before long. And yes, I just published my first ever piece on the DM's Guild. It is called Wrong Turn Dragon Heist, and Mac gave a perfect introduction for it, so I don't have to. But check it out. If you go to DM's Guild right now and you you search in their search box Wrong Turn, you will find it. Or if you click the link that I'm sure will show up at some point.
The link are already in chat.
The link in chat, it will take you right there. It's only $10, and if you're not running Dragon Heist, it's still something you might want to pick up for a future turn on Dragon Heist, or maybe you know someone who's running Dragon Heist and you want to gift it to them,
or maybe you're a player who put your campaign off the rails and you feel bad and you're like, here, slides this to the DM.
Yeah, I'm running. Maybe you're playing in Dragon Heist and you're responsible for killing that important NPC. So you might want to make amends by buying this, or maybe you just really like were sharks, and I hear there's a were shark in the module.
I mean, I don't think there's anyone ever in the world that can relate to any of this. I mean, I certainly don't relate to any of this.
Were shark, were shark.
Derailing a game? What? I can't relate. I'm sorry.
It is billed. It is being billed as Volume 1. So if it is successful, if I can see that this was a good idea, there will be other volumes of Wrong Turn that will address additional adventures that have pitfalls for going off the rails, like Dragon Heist did. But that's me in a really big nutshell. I'm gonna turn it over to my brother in crime and in other things, Stephius, aka Zelda Android.
Oh my god, you did it! You did the Twitter handle thing.
That's me, Zelda Android, Zelda. You know what I do? First and foremostly, love my wife. Second, I love you too.
Y'all, stop being cute. I have to play the devil. You can't do
No,
this.
keep being cute. Keep being cute. We need the power of cuteness to fight the devil.
Mac is a bushball, okay?
And I play D&D. Those are my 3 things. And I run my Twitter page. So if you want to check out anything that I'm in, you should go to my Twitter page, and I'll post when I'm in games. Sometimes it's one-shots that are less than a week advance. So I don't have a schedule. This is it.
I mean, I don't think I've ever put you in a game with less than a... Let's move on quickly.
This has become let's call Scrat out for a solid 5 minutes, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's all good. Talking of calling Scrat out, I'm looking across this field of advantages, disadvantages, automatic successes, and other things that we all have, and today we got to drive it like we stole it, all of us.
Oh, and me too, right? You're giving me permission for the devil to to use all the advantages.
Oh
and
yeah.
Me to pour all the disadvantages.
I double dare you.
Oh, you want to go, boy?
Oh, I want to go. I want to go.
Let me get the. Hold on. I
But what if
believe
I
I
need them
have
for
2
later?
auto successes, 11 advantages, and 8 disadvantages. But I could always use more. So if you do !mark donate in chat, you can contribute to this beautiful castle of advantages and disadvantages. Or you could like help the players too, but like, you know, that's fine. That's
So,
you.
do
Please
we?
help us.
Yes,
For the love
please,
of
please,
God.
please help us. We have a tower. We have a tower that we need to overcome. Scrat, you set a record. You just determined our raid cry like 5 minutes into the episode, apparently. This got to be a record.
No.
I'm actually gonna write these down because I need to save at least 1 disadvantage or something that I have planned.
Well, I'll just have to write it down. Then I have to say one advantage for something.
No, we agreed at the beginning of this in our session 0. We cannot use gifted things to cancel out other gifted things.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
I
So here's what we'll.
What if I call it first?
If you call it first, then she can't do anything about it.
Then I can't do anything about it. I just have to be
Yeah,
on
but
the
she
ball.
has the advantage of knowing exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. I feel terrible. Anyway, speaking of feeling terrible, do we want to talk about what happened last week?
Yeah. You killed Bubbles.
No, that was 3 weeks ago.
Well, it still feels fresh, okay?
Raven
That's not
messaged
denial.
me Raven messaged me, and Raven knows what happened to Bubbles. And Raven literally was like, Bubbles isn't dead, right? And I was just like, no, everyone else are just assholes, okay?
Let's see. We tracked down Old Scratch, Mr. Face Punch E himself, in a library, a gigantic library that might be on fire.
Yeah. Let's see. There, I believe someone decided to yeet their soul from their body.
Yes, someone decided to do that, and someone else decided to challenge the devil to a dance-off for the fate of all
I'm not saying a lot of bad
personkind.
decisions were made last episode, but hear me out. A lot of bad decisions might have been made last episode. Also, I need to give
I feel like
To be
Seth is the
fair.
only one that made good decisions last episode.
and he has the
His
lowest
decision was-
intelligence.
Find the bad guy and hit him real hard. And so
That-
far,
that link is for you. You might need it.
To
I got half
be
those things
fair,
done.
we have done half the things we set out to do. To be fair, I feel like the mantra of this entire team has been Bad Decisions Inc. since day one.
I've got even more bad decisions coming your way.
I mean, we started by skipping school, so I guess
Yeah,
That's true.
We started by skipping school.
this is what happens when you skip school, kids. Don't skip school. You end up triggering the end of the world. But it
I
might be
feel like
cool.
We're all stalling before fighting the devil. Is there anything
Hey.
else we want to get off our chests?
Yes,
before we launch
actually,
back
there
in?
is something else I want to get off my chest before we dive into this shit show. I want to say that as someone I want to say publicly in front of all these audience members here, that as someone who usually is the dungeon master in most games I play in, I want to say that Mac, you have been a fantastic DM, and I have had the most fun ever in a
can't
long
contest.
time.
Hand over my heart's in the middle, right? Hands over my heart.
Now that's not going to stop me from killing your boss monster as viciously as I can. But you have thoroughly entertained me for these what was it, 12 weeks? However long it's
It's been
been.
12 weeks. It's 11 episodes, 12 weeks. Y'all can't let me get mushy right now. I have to be the devil in like a minute. So just, I love you all so much.
We love you, and you're so
Okay.
talented.
That's all
One
I
of the
had to
best
get off
DMs
my
I've ever
chest.
had.
Oh my god, you're all breathtaking. Fuck.
Really
Anyways,
though, this has been wonderful. I'm gonna treasure
you
this.
Scratch. This is
Okay.
fine.
Now kill us.
Now kill us. Now you can kill us, Mac. Now you can kill us.
Just don't feel bad about it. Not like we put our heart and souls into these characters. We didn't spend months beforehand planning them out. And
Building
you
them
didn't.
and
You
coming
literally
up
didn't.
with.
You didn't have that much time because this is.
Fine, we didn't spend like.
There
didn't-
was 6,000 words though, which at some point should see the light of day.
Yeah. Some
Okay,
in-depth
look, I'm
role
putting on
playing
the boss
before we
battle
got
music
started.
now, and you can't stop me.
I haven't been trying to stop you. I've been trying to give you all of my appreciation.
I
No.
hate you all. I
Kill
love
Seth.
you. Time for murder. All right, so I believe last we left off our intrepid party. Skuka had catapulted, aka yeeted his soul into a wall, and it had broken, causing it to rise out of the crystal that Old Scratch had contained it in. Following that, Old Scratch sort of looked at you, sort of accepted your offer for a dance-off, and then brushed off one lapel and sent a wave of hellfire at the three of you. So, picking up right where we left off, I will need. Sure.
I believe I started my rage last session because I have not I attached the rage damage to my
Yeah.
my damage modifier.
Yeah, and I will allow that. I will need everyone to make me dexterity saving throws. Susira, Cepheus, I am imposing disadvantage on you. Scrat, I am giving you one of my advantages.
I have also a natural advantage, so it'll be a straight roll.
Favoritism,
straight
I'll
roll.
take it. The disadvantages, are they from the
They're
pile?
from my pile.
I'm happy
Start
to
not
take the
good.
favoritism.
This is mainly because he drops.
With disadvantage, I
Not
roll
bad.
a 20.
To be
Maybe
fair,
it's
the
because I'm
DC's
so limber and ready to dance.
Even if I got a nat 20, I wouldn't have beat that DC, so... Hi.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the DC?
And it's
24.
a 21.
Oh. Never mind. Here I am acting all smugly with
I
my
literally-
20.
I had to roll a nat 20 to pass that.
Hi, you're fighting the devil. Cool.
Am I, though?
I imposed disadvantage because the devil did drop telekinesis. So, but being dropped from being held like frozen in place, I figured it made sense. But someone else rolled a nat 20 to avoid the telekinesis, so Let me keep. Why did I close this character sheet? I need that. Anyway, so yeah.
Mackenzie, just a note. You don't have to explain yourself to us. If you want to oppose disadvantage on me, do it. Hurt me.
Is okay?
This is what
cool.
it's all about you, Mackenzie.
Y'all are making me mushy. No, can't do that. Well,
Ambara Gawain has a really excellent point. Did Mackenzie just gift Scrat an advantage so Scrat couldn't auto-success? That is a devious use of advantages. That is a devious use. That's a 200 IQ play right there.
Wow! That is... Wow!
That was not friendly.
Here it's like, oh, I'm using one of my advantages on you. Here you go.
I am
That
giving
is-
you
that
an
is-
advantage.
That is totally a Satan play right there. Like, here's this nice thing that you don't realize is actually going to help me more than it's going to help you. Like, no.
Anyways,
That was a moment.
a wall of smoldering hellfire just races out at the three of you, and for a moment you can see the entire perimeter of this room just flare up in this searing, unnaturally red and black fire. All of you take 24 points of fire damage. Scrat, you have your ring, so it's halved.
Excellent. Fantastic. That's great. Right, I won't worry about the other thing then.
Yeah.
Not yet, anyway.
And with that, unless there is anything anyone would like to do, I believe now would be perfect time to roll some initiatives.
Does my soul need to roll initiative?
No, your soul operates on your turn as per the rules I gave you.
I see the rules you gave me. there's a possibility here that we may not have considered, or rather, we'll see what happens.
If you want your soul to operate on its own initiative, I will let it happen.
Nope. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Okay. I will remind you, you can use advantages, and if you use an auto success on your initiative, it will be we'll say a 13 plus whatever your initiative modifier is.
Ah, heck, let's drive it like we stole it. I'm gonna burn an advantage anyway.
Yeah.
I know I've called it after I've done it, but let's just burn them.
For this stream, because we have so much, I will let you retroactively call advantages. Exceptions will be made for when I call something first. You cannot use that to combat it. But I also can't combat yours, so, you know.
My stack is not nearly as big as some other people's. I have, 5 advantages? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
5 or 6, yeah.
5 or 6. I can burn through most of those in a single turn with all my attacks, so...
I think I've only got 4 now.
I'm not gonna use mine on initiative. I'm saving them to hit the devil.
Zelda, Cepheus, are you sticking with the 9?
I will stick with the 9.
Cool. 26 for the devil.
See, it wouldn't have mattered.
So I see Cepheus's initiative roll, and I think, that's a 9.
You know what? I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. I'll give you an advantage for that one. You could take an advantage from my pile.
I don't like this. Being rewarded for puns, this feels wrong.
So
I feel
generous.
Wrong. I feel wrong.
What? I've always appreciated your puns, and I've absolutely never called you out for them. I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway.
Is there anything, I will give you a brief moment as you're sort of kind of recovering from this hellfire. If there are small things like activating your rage or anything that would take a bonus action, like, activating a right or activating your rage, I will let that happen before we jump in.
I conjure my sword.
My rights, my rights are both already active.
Okay.
Because I activated them before we even went into this room.
Yes. Okay.
But I did. I do want to, if I have the option to say something as like a free action.
Sure.
I'm gonna say to the devil who just threw some hellfire at us. I thought you agreed to the dance-off. Shouldn't we discuss terms before we get all hostile and I start beating your face?
My friend, I feel like we both know the inevitable end of this, but if you wish to know my terms, they are simple. Don't die.
Just playing into my hands.
And
So if you win the dance-off, what you want is for me to not die?
No, winner doesn't die. It's very simple. And as he's talking about this, he is going to cast something. You can see the fire that sort of strike around the room just sort of simmer down. He is going to cast Dominate Monster.
Well, if I win...
Not on you. On Stuka.
Yeah, I figured. Wait! We're all monsters races! I forgot.
Stuka, make me a wisdom saving throw, and I will say because the DC is 24, you cannot use an auto success because auto successes are average. They are not critical, and your modifier is not enough.
I cannot pass this roll.
You can if you get a nat 20.
I'll use an advantage just to increase my chances. 1 in 10. Well, actually, 2 in 20. Not quite the same, but no.
Almost the same. Close enough.
Like 1 in 40 or something. No, wait, 2 in 40. Sorry, something like that. Boom!
There you go.
Oh my god! What are Chances!
One in 40 apparently, or 1 in 10.
Cool.
No, but like after it being called, like you can
I told
only win
you.
with a net. Okay, well, sure.
I think Sphinx Roll is right. Sphinx Roll has said dancing is obviously Scratch's weakness. That's why he keeps dodging my questions.
Okay. Cool. That's fine.
Well, if I win, you have to go back to hell, and you have to pay our rent. For like at least a year.
You could see, like, there, as you look at him, you could see, Skuka, you feel, it's like a very distant feeling. You feel like a tug, but, you know, you are somehow able to hold on. I don't know what you're planning, but you are able to hold on to your soul and that very, very distant connection you have to it. And there is a brief moment where you can see Scratch's face sort of flicker from that sort of casual smile he's been wearing for something. Just frustration? Surprise?
Hang on a second. I just remembered.
Yes.
Last episode, didn't I flick my cigarette away and conjure my sword from the trail of smoke?
Yes.
Great, because that gives me a level 2 spell slot back. Great. I don't need to conjure it
Okay.
again. Awesome. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shrug it
And-
off.
Yeah, you shrug it off. And there's a moment where Scratch's face just sort of flickers in confusion, and then it returns to that very poised smile. Alright then. And he holds
Right.
out his hand for Sasira to shake. Do we have a deal? Shakes your hand. Nothing happens, you can't do anything. But he does shake your hand. And now it is Skuka's turn.
I don't normally meta explain my logic. But in this scenario, I think everyone will think I'm crazy if I just start acting out the actions which I plan to undertake.
Give it to me, Scrat.
The devil is trying to collect the 4 horsemen.
More or less.
My soul is tied to the horsemen.
Yes.
Since it's gone, I can't use any of them powers. So I'm not going to attack the devil. With my sword, I'm stalking towards my soul. And I'm gonna fuck it up.
Okay. Okay. Alright.
Like I say, I don't normally explain my logic, but there it is. Thank you, Otherdoc, for the raid. Jim, lovely to see you. Welcome in, Raiders. You're joining us for the grand finale. It's all going to get real wild as we start stabbing our own mental psyches. Shadowblade. No, wait, hang on a minute. I need to do an attack roll. I need to do an attack
roll
roll.
an attack
I need to do an
roll.
attack roll. I'm going to use advantage.
Okay.
I was using the dagger, right? Because it's the same. It's the same attack
Yep.
roll. I can just roll damage on anything else. 18.
18 will hit.
Okay.
Okay, so
Do I have sneak attack against myself?
you know what? I will say you're attacking yourself. Yourself isn't expecting this. You have sneak attack.
Sure, that'll be 15 points of damage.
15 points of damage. Okay. So you hit your soul. Let me just write this down. Skuka, how many hit points do you have? What's your max hit points?
43.
Cool.
I rolled absolute balls for
Yeah,
HP.
that is garbage. That's your max, right? Not your current?
That is my max.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, I'm predominantly a paladin, and my max is only 66.
I'm gonna be doing a lot of math here. Hold on. That's 15 points of damage. Okay. Cool.
I have a lot, but not right now.
It's okay, Seth.
So you go
got
over,
this.
and your soul isn't facing you. It's sort of like standing there limply, or not limply, but sort of standing there, not entirely sure what to do, because you know it's a soul without a body. It doesn't know what's going on, and you take your psychic blade and you slice through it, and you can see it fizzle, almost like static on a TV. And as you slice through it, there is a dull ache in the exact same spot where you cut it. Like you sliced it across its chest, there is a dull ache across your own chest as you hit it. And you also take 5 points of psychic damage.
That halved.
That will be halved from your ring. Actually, no, that's already halved because it's the 9 psychic halved, so you take half of the psychic damage, basically.
Okay.
Anything else you can do on your turn?
I don't have my action surge. I'm gonna do some. No, I'm not. No, I'm gonna hold my tongue, I think. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, cool. Scratch is gonna use a legendary action. Skuka, make me I believe for telekinesis, it is a contested roll. What the heck?
Yes, it is.
It is contested roll.
It's contested, and the person being hit is strength.
Yeah, strength saving throw against my spellcasting ability. I'm using an advantage.
Can I see what you roll before I decide? Or do you want us to roll together?
I'll roll first. 28.
Oh, shit.
Advantage.
Okay, again, so I'm nat 20 fishing here. Because I
Yes.
have a +0 modifier in strength
Come
saving
on.
throws.
Come
I'm
on.
gonna
Burn
burn
that
an
advantage.
I will say a nat 20 or a nat 1 will succeed because nat 1's success with consequences.
Now,
You swing through you cut through your soul, and as you move to pull back, you feel yourself locked in place. And there's a very, very dry voice from across the room. Really? You should know to play nice. You can talk.
uh-huh. Don't know what to
Cepheus.
say.
Cepheus, it is your turn.
Oh boy. Cepheus is already raging.
Mhm.
And in the absolute opposite fashion of Skuka, he's gonna go paging War. Please come in, War.
Paging Dr. War. Paging Dr. War.
Copy that. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's end this.
And I think if I could picture this in any way, that olive skin color that you see on Seth starts to deepen and darken into almost like a red. And he's going to pick himself up off the ground. And the first thing he's going to do is use his bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark
You can do that.
on the devil. I can. So until the spell ends, I deal an extra 1d6 damage on all of my hits.
You're a ranger now?
No, it's part of the feat.
Oh, it's part of the feat.
Definitely,
Okay, I got it.
definitely a ranger.
I was like, did you multi-class when I wasn't looking?
Yeah, I threw that one javelin and decided to change my class up to ranged. And I think I'm gonna take my 2 attacks, my 2 battle axe attacks, and I'm gonna take them recklessly.
All right.
Does a 23
23 will hit.
and a 21 hit?
Both will hit. Roll me damage.
21
Okay.
and another 18. 39.
21. Okay. I will pose you this option.
And sorry, I didn't add my Hunter's Mark to the global damage modifier.
Okay.
But so slash 2d6 for those 2 hits. Another 8
Ooh.
damage on top of that.
That is a higher roll than normal for you, Zelda.
It is a higher roll. If it's above average, it is a higher roll than I usually.
That is exactly what I meant. Okay, so Zelda, I'm posing you this option because telekinesis is a concentration spell. We can either, for sake of just quickness, so I don't have to roll multiple times, I can just do average damage for like all your attacks, and then use that to determine the threshold for the concentration check. Or I can do one for like every single attack, but that's going to be a lot of damage. It's going to slow things down.
Whatever's easiest for you.
Okay, I'm gonna just do average damage because I don't want to roll multiple checks because y'all are gonna be doing so many attacks per round and it's gonna be annoying.
Well, I'm sorry.
It's just like that's so much. That's so many.
Does
rolls.
Mac's little monster not want to make a bunch of concentration checks?
No, it's Mac the DM doesn't want to keep pressing that button.
Fair.
Okay. You know what? I'm rolling this straight.
I'm just being sassy.
He just barely passes. The DC was 12.
What's that for?
To keep a hold on Scooter.
Every time you hit him, he, concentration on the telekinesis.
He just barely made that one. Okay. Cool. Anything else you want to do on your turn, Zephyus?
Used action and bonus action. That's I think all I have right now.
Tasira, you're up.
All right. So, how does this work? Do I just start dancing?
You challenge, so I will allow you to go first. Have fun.
All right. And then okay, so that traditional whenever Sastira does his Falcon Punch and the anime lines show up in the background, for the first time ever, the anime lines show up in the background without the Falcon Punch. He's dancing, but it kind of looks more like he's in a fighting stance, but he's using his fighting stance knowledge to just try to be a better dancer. And he says, "This is for you, Bubbles." And he gives it all he's got, and he finishes with I'm gonna actually burn a Divine Smite, just to as the final finisher of his little dance off. He just does a punch in the midair.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be epic. I'm assuming I have to make a performance check, but I don't know.
Yes.
You have rules for this, so
Yes,
something.
I do have rules for this.
Can I use an auto success on this? Or
I
is
will
this
say
one of
no
those?
because there isn't necessarily a DC.
Okay.
This scales based on how good your roll is.
Then I'm using an advantage.
Okay. As you're doing this, you can't actually he has one hand up, holding Skuka in place with the telekinesis, but with the other hand, he just sort of flicks it in the corner, and the jukebox in the corner that was playing when you initially walked in sort of starts flaring up to life as you sort of dance. Okay. You are
14.
You know what? To your credit, it looks pretty dang good. You are dancing. It starts off a little shaky at first because you're fighting off the devil, and so you're a little bit offbeat a couple of times, and sometimes it's just you kind of spin and you lose your balance for a hot second, but you manage to dance fairly well, and Cepheus, Skuka, are you watching this?
Always.
I'm
Eyes
held.
locked on the devil.
I'm held locked onto my soul, so.
Okay. Cepheus, as you're watching, look, Sasira describes these anime lines a lot, and they normally just happen in his head. For the first time, though, Cepheus, you actually see light starting to surround Sasira as he dances. It's not just from his fists, though. The fists are normally glowing the way that they normally do when he fights. These lines actually start coming from the other crystals that start surrounding the room. They start to pulse. They start to glow. Sisira, roll me 3d6.
I'm happy to. 3d6. Am I adding anything to this or just 3d6?
Nope, straight. 3d6 straight.
Bam! 4!
Well, okay.
Two ones and a 2.
That hurts. That's a me roll.
That is a Zelda roll. That is so a Zelda roll.
I think the worst that's ever happened is I rolled 46 or something. I got 3 1s and a 2. I think that's about as bad as it gets for me.
So,
Let's
Sisira,
be honest. Sisira has a dancer's heart, but he has never been a dancer. When he danced with Bubbles, that was his first time really dancing since he was a child.
there is that faint warmth in your chest as you put it all out on the dance floor for Bubbles. And you regain 8 hit points.
Oh boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Real or temporary?
Real.
Okay.
Anything else you want to do on your turn?
I'm assuming that was my action.
That was your action. It was a hot 6 seconds.
Hot 6 seconds. Bonus action wise, I don't got much available. So yeah, that's my turn.
And you can see the devil just sort of idly clap. Sort of do that idle clap where you're just sort of tapping the wrist. That non-committal clap. Alright.
Like
Fair
the
enough.
same clap that my dad gave when he watched
100%. 100%. Niggerins. Alright. My turn. He sort of dances, but it's more of just that sort of saunter that comes along with that, like that saunter of a cocky sort of walk towards you. And he holds out his hand and he does a very gracious bow towards you. And as he does, he is taking a secondary legendary action. I believe he walked over to you, so Cepheus, you could have gotten an attack of opportunity.
Can I?
Yes.
May I?
Yes, because you walked right towards Sisira.
If he's walking on his own, on his action, moving away, Booming Blade also gets another 2d8
Okay.
damage.
Do it. Okay.
That's 5. Thunder. And I will be taking another swing as my
Okay.
reaction. Does a 16 hit?
16 does not hit.
Fair enough. Swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss. But he does take the 5 damage, so he does have to make another saving throw. He makes it. But he's rolling pretty shitty. And
That's the
as
exact
he-
same roll you got last time, 12 and
Yep.
22.
Yeah, roll 20 is being a cruel mistress today. He bows towards you, and as he bows, it's like the ground beneath him cracks and rumbles, and there is a scorching, hot, black fire that sort of shoots out from his body. Cepheus, with that attack of opportunity, you will also be in this 10-foot radius. So both Cepheus and Sisira will need to make me DC 19 dexterity saves. Cepheus, you will have...
me do the opportunity attack now, Mackenzie.
Whatever do you mean?
I thought about denying it as I'm not close enough, but here we are.
Here we are.
Wait. So
It was a con save or a
A
dex?
dexterity save. Cepheus, you would have seen this coming, so you will automatically get advantage because of your barbarian thingy.
I'll use one of my advantages.
23 pass.
21.
23s and 21 will both pass, so you only take half damage. So that is, oh my gosh, math.
Is it both together?
There are different types of damage. 11
Okay.
fire damage and 9 necrotic damage to both of you.
I see how it is.
Am I
Trying
rolling
to
for
disrupt my
concentration?
dancing.
Cepheus, what did you say?
Am I rolling for concentration?
For Hunter's Mark? Yeah.
Is it the same 12?
It will be half. It'll be 10 or half damage. So you took basically just get higher than 10. Constitution save higher than 10.
I mean, I have a +7 modifier, so
Yeah.
it's pretty hard to
You good? You
not
good?
beat.
All right.
So this is why barbarians aren't casters.
Hey, I might have worked it. All right.
There's a subclass out there that gives them partial spellcasting. Somewhere on the internet.
What, barbarian subclass?
Yeah. It's in Xanathar's Guide to Everything Else. That was it's like a
Oh yeah, the DM skill thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It is. It is the devil's turn. Sorry, I completely spaced out there for a hot second. Okay. Cool. Yuka, you feel the telekinesis sort of fade from you, but I will need you to make me another wisdom saving throw.
Sorry, was that Skuka?
Yes, Skuka.
Sorry, I'm desperately looking for the famine sheet you gave me so long ago, and I can't find it anywhere.
I will link it to
all
you
I know.
during your turns. Don't worry
Thank
about
you.
it.
All I know is you don't have blight.
Yeah, you don't have blight.
At this point, that's all I know as well. Because I'm looking at my spells list. I'm trying to remember what's Skuka and what's not.
You have Chill Touch, Sickening Radiance, and one more thing.
Was it Arms of Hadar?
I think so.
Damn. Okay.
I will double check though.
It's not an issue. It's not an issue. Cool. So, great.
Wisdom saving throw, please.
Wisdom saving throw. Balls. Still looking for a nat 20, right?
Possibly.
There you go.
Oh my
My God,
god!
is there like some weird perk that if you play like a lot on Roll20, they start like just handing out 20s to you?
No, here's what it is. Mac killed Bubbles, and so she's haunting Skuka.
Honestly?
I'm honestly always this lucky.
Oh boy.
We did a thing IRL before Gen Con where we were all in this house playing together in the DM tool school. Had an encounter and laid out a bunch of cards. You know the Nevermore cards? She laid out 7 cards, 1 for each person in the party. 6 crows and 1 crown. And it was one of them things where you have to make a leap of faith and select a card. And I was like, yeah, sure. Just picked a card and it was a crown.
I'm so upset.
So was Speedy.
No, and then you did the thing when in the Warhammer game. Honestly, just.
Oh yeah, we didn't even figure out the probability of that, but I did it.
We will one day.
Yeah. The shooting the bullet through the flight, through the jet.
You feel again that sort of tug and that pull to separate yourself from your soul. And then there is a faint glow around you. That ring on your finger starts to pulse a little. With a faint pink light. And it's almost like that feeling in your chest fills that emptiness where your soul should be. And you, once again, shrug off the devil.
Yeah.
He's not happy.
Becker.
And with that, it is your turn.
First
You are
action. I'm free?
Yes, you are free from the telekinesis.
Fantastic. First action, I'm gonna stab my soul.
Okay, do it.
Nat 20.
Yeah, cool. Hey, nat 20's on attacks. Double damage or damage in effect?
Double damage.
Okay.
We in for the kill.
That's a dagger, so you get the double.
Oh, yeah.
You get to roll your psychic damage.
Yes, thank you. How am I gonna do this?
take
Oh,
the
hang on a minute. I can
84.
just add an attack here. That's all. There we go.
Okay. We'll still
so
take the nat 20. No worries about that.
awesome, great. I'll just stick the crit range right down then to nat 20. Because those wouldn't have done it. There you go.
That's a lot of. Okay. Cool. Against your soul, huh?
Against my soul.
Well, there's that. Well, you take 24 halves, so 12 points of psychic damage yourself.
I would like using the rules you sent me. Oh, it's a bonus action. No, it's not. As a reaction.
A reaction to taking damage, you can pour some of that damage into your soul.
Great. So half of the damage that I take from attacking my soul, I'd like to pour that straight back into my soul.
I didn't account for this as a possibility, but okay.
And then I'm going to burn 2 sorcery points to quicken Firebolt and Firebolt my soul.
Right on.
Okay.
14?
A 14 will not hit, but that is not because you necessarily miss. It's because as you reel back to try and hit your soul, that pale green form that looked just like you, but thicker, thinner, gaunter, it just fizzles out like static.
Is it dead?
In a soul can, in the way only a soul can be dead.
Can
Yes.
I detect famine anywhere in the world?
I need you to do me 2 things firstly. Hold on, I'm mathing.
I realize I'm going over my action economy here, but like,
No, yeah,
I need
no,
to
no,
know.
it's fine.
I
This
need
is
to
fine.
know.
This is fine. I just have to math real quick. Roll me 98. Okay. That's a heckin' chunk of damage.
What'd I do?
Don't worry about it. And then if you want to contact Hammond, roll me a charisma saving throw.
Oh, I didn't know if I wanted to like contact them. Oh boy.
You want to try and find Famine?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a charisma save.
Hi.
Hi, nat 1 rules. What are you feeling?
What's the worst that can happen? I'll succeed and give you a penalty.
Cool. Cool. Thank you. I was hoping you'd do that.
Part of this deal is I get the information, though, right? I succeed. I can see if famine is around.
Wow, you were so defensive. You feel that ache in your chest, and for a moment that there is like a rush of emotion just sort of hits you, and then it dulls out again. And you can see, as you kind of recoil from that, one of old Scratch's wings gets completely ripped away. There is a sudden flare of green light as your soul disperses, and one of those skeletal black wings just sort of turns to dust and just flies out, and you can see it actually, this storm crash through one of the windows of the library and join the swirling storm up around this library. The other wing is still up. The wing that is hovering, or right in for the wing that has Bubbles as Crystal hovering in front of it is still up.
To be clear, there is a one-winged angel in the room.
Yes.
Great.
And you, as you sort of recoil and you reach back, you can sense Famine.
Damn.
Very faintly, as if from very far away, as if from outside in the storm, and you can almost feel that ripple careen out as his wing disintegrates and flies out. You can feel that presence go. You successfully destroyed your soul.
Yay. I was kind of hoping to destroy Famine along with it.
Famine is sort of around. You can tell Famine cannot. You can just sort of sense that presence as it's like the last connection you have to it, as Famine's host for a while, sort of disappear out into the storm of absolutely destructive energy around you. But you can tell that definitely put a dent in Old Scratch's plans. There is one more crystal left. And with that, it is Cepheus' turn.
Oh boy. I accidentally rolled something I didn't mean to roll.
Don't worry about it.
But yeah. And you know what? Screw it. I'll cast it. It's right there. Might as well. Staggering Smite. It's a concentration, which would usually break the It should break the crit.
Here's what I'll say,
concentration.
Zelda. If
Right.
you want to spend an auto success, you can keep both spells up.
Sure. I'll burn an auto success for that.
It's the last episode.
How freely
might as well
given
use
these
them.
gifts are.
I always forget him. So yeah, he's gonna take his 2 hits on top of that as a bonus action, and it would be a 21 to hit. Sorry, I meant to reckless and.
That's fine.
Okay. So that's the damage 20 plus
Plus a decent, yeah.
another 17 psychic
Hmm.
damage.
Cepheus is a master. Tank. Cepheus is beautiful.
I love him.
Okay. You slam this axe into him, and you can. Now that wing is gone, it's almost as if when you hit him, it takes more, and you can see him stagger back from where he was in front of Sakura.
Can I use my second reckless attack to aim for the base of the wing?
You can certainly try.
Yeah, I'll try.
That will not hit.
It's a 13 either way.
That does not hit.
Oh,
You swing the second time, and it's possibly because of the recoil. You don't expect it to hit him this hard, but you swing wide.
I meant to add this as my hunter's mark damage. It's a 6.
Good. That's a great roll for you, Zelda.
Right? 6 out of 6.
I'm
What have you
worried
done
how
with
well
Zelda?
you- I know. Y'all are rolling way too well. This is concerning for me. Anything else you want to do on your turn?
Think that's all I can do.
Okay.
Am I standing directly beside Skuka?
I will say Skuka's was on the perimeter, so there's Skuka, then there's you, and then there's the devil right there. I punched him tonight.
Can I, for fun purposes, move so that I am flanking the devil with my brother?
Yeah.
Perfect. Map mechanics without a map.
Yeah.
Speaking
Do I
of your
get
brother-
flanking bonuses on my dance checks?
Sure. Why not?
Intimidated. Steph's just tapping
Intimidated.
his foot. That counts as dancing, right?
Yeah, we're both. Yeah. You're keeping the beat up. Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of which, Sincere, it is your turn. You saw your brother take a massive. Well, you saw firstly one of the devil's wings just literally disintegrate and burst out of this window, and then you saw your brother take a massive chunk out of the devil.
You know
He
what
looked
I saw though?
Angry. What?
You know what I saw more importantly?
Mm-hmm.
The devil, when it was his turn, made a piss poor dance move.
Yes.
So that means that I win the contest, right?
Devil never plays dead.
Oh yeah? Is that so? Then neither do I. And I'm going to do this. I don't know if this is technically allowed or not, but I'm going to do this awesome dance move, the sequence of dance moves. Throw in a forward flip mid-dance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I should be better at flipping than I am at actually dancing. So might as well mix in as much of my acrobatic knowledge into my dance moves as I can, because I'm better at that than performance. You know, at the end of this little dance sequence, my bonus action, since the devil is okay with cheating, is to drink that long rest potion.
Okay. Roll me
You
acrobatics.
want an acrobatics or a performance?
Acrobatics.
Okay, I'm using an advantage. 15.
15. Roll me 3d6. If you get like 3 ones, I'm gonna freaking cry.
I swear to God, if I get 3 ones, I'm pulling out real physical dice. 1 1.
Well, that's where all the bad luck's going. It's right there. You regained 16 hit points, but you are at full, so it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, I just had a long rest. Question for you.
Yes.
Since I just had a long rest, does that mean my rights on my fists has ended?
You know what? For funsies, we'll say no. Because
Okay,
this potion isn't supposed to work like this. It's like, this isn't a legit magic item.
So my rights hasn't ended, but
Yes.
what about the reduced maximum hit points
I'll say they
from my
stay up.
rights?
I will say you can either get your max hit points back, but you lose your rights, or you can keep your rights, but your max hit points are reduced. It's up to you.
I'll keep the rights up.
Okay, keep the rights up. Old Scratticus, yes. Do you have anything else you want to do on your turn?
Well, I used a bonus action to drink a potion. I used an action to dance, and I used my free speaking to taunt the dude.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look at him smugly because I'm the better dancer, and I'm not even a very good dancer.
There is a record scratch as the jukebox in the corner isn't necessarily stopped. It is absolutely crushed as through the windows careen these massive globules of ichor dripping black hellfire, and he casts brimstone.
Brimstone. I'm not familiar with that spell.
It is because it is a spell I made up. So everyone, including Skuka, not me, but including Skuka, so all 3 of you will need to make me a dexterity saving throw. Zelda, you're muted.
I should have just used an auto success.
I'm gonna burn
Can
an
I
advantage. I know I'm fishing for nat 20s again.
Yes.
Can I just use an auto success?
I will say we can use an auto success and lower the DC.
With my protection, it says when a creature you see attacks a target other than you within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to oppose disadvantage on the attack roll. This has a save, but it is still a physical attack.
I will say, roll me a d8, and I will reduce the DC for whoever you're protecting by that much.
I hope this helps someone. 4.
Okay. The DC 20. If you want to use an auto success for this, I will do the same thing. You can roll a d8 and it will reduce the DC.
If I'm just using an auto success to reduce the DC, I'd rather use an advantage and just roll. I have +6, so I just need an 18 or higher.
Cepheus, who are you protecting?
I'll protect. Oh, I'm not beside Susura anymore. I flanked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you could have protected Skuka if you do that. You know, Frick, I'll say if you protect Skuka, he auto takes half damage. Fine.
Okay. I'll.
You want that? Would that work?
I'll work it with Skuka because he's standing beside me.
Okay.
And within the
you
bounds of the
automatically
5 feet.
succeed then.
Thank you, Cepheus.
Okay. So, Zasira and Cepheus, you take 26 fire damage and 17 bludgeoning damage from this storm. Skuka, you take half of that, reduced by half again because you were ring.
Your good boy is at 0.
Cepheus down.
Yep.
Cepheus drops.
Heck, how much damage did I take at the end with the halving on the ring as well?
Okay, hold on.
Don't feel
That
bad,
is
Seth.
6 points of
I
fire
can't
damage
feel anything.
and 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
And I don't suppose I could send any to my soul. Is my soul gone?
Only a charisma saving throw.
And
Do you want to retroactively call an advantage?
Doesn't feel right in this case.
Okay.
had I not drank that potion right when I did, I also would have been down, Steph. So.
Yeah, the devil's in flank
Yeah.
there. I will say you can't send half of your damage to your soul. You can send. Roll me a d10. You can use an advantage on this if you want.
I think I'd better. Although this is my last advantage, which is why I'm trying to hold on to it.
You can take one
Burn
of mine.
it, Scrat. Burn it.
Take one of mine.
Take one of yours? Okie dokie.
Okay, you can send 7 of those points off to who knows where.
I still have a link to it, damn it. I need to kill it.
Cepheus drops to the ground.
Seth, or Zelda, are you just out of hit points, or are you also out of like rages and like are you out of resources, or just hit points?
If all of my calculations are correct, I do have 0 rages.
Okay, so of the 2 potions that I could feed to you, the one that gives you back a whole bunch of HP, or the one that gives you a long rest, the long rest is the one that is more useful right now.
It is absolutely.
Got it.
The devil sort of brings his fist down, and you can see these things swarm in, and Cepheus just falls to the ground, absolutely unconscious, with a little bit of blood sort of coming from his nose. And Skuka, it is your turn.
Thank you very
As
much,
you feel this
Pumpkin,
hit you.
who gifts me 5 advantages because I'm running low too early. Thank you. And it's my turn, and Cepheus is on the
Cepheus
floor.
is on the ground. Everyone do the
Cepheus is
dinosaur.
unconscious.
Yeah. Okay. So
I will also say, in your quest to get rid of the 4 horses, there is still 1 crystal left.
say again.
There is, in your quest to get rid of
Mackenzie.
the 4 horsemen, there is still 1 crystal left.
Mackenzie's trying to encourage you to attack Bubbles, Skuka.
That didn't happen.
Yeah.
I've killed one of the horsemen. That should be enough to put the devil's plans at bay. But right now, my friend is on the floor, and I don't know dick about medicine. And that's a problem.
Skuka, I'll take care of my brother. You do whatever you gotta do.
Right. I'm gonna run across to Cicera and tag him. And I start.
Meg?
Yeah, I'm tagging you. I'm tagging in.
For the dance-off?
Oh, you're gonna take over my dancing while I heal my brother. Yes.
Okay.
Have you ever seen a dancing at a punk show? That's what I'm imagining. Just flailing your body around and like smashing into people.
Yeah, well, Skuk only knows one kind of dancing, and it's mosh pitting, so I guess he just flings an elbow at, like, the devil's face, and, like, starts, like, running in a circle, trying to create a one-man circle pit. Like...
Okay. What skill do you want to do? Do you want to do an attack roll? Do you want to do a performance check? This is up to you.
I mean, we can do a performance check, that's fine.
Okay, performance check.
I'm definitely using one of my brand new advantages. Thank you very much, Pumpkin.
Okay. Roll me 3d8. Plus your charisma modifier.
Oh, okay, that's more code than... What's my charisma modifier? 3. Okay, so just fuck it, just plus 3. 13.
13, okay. You regain 26 hit points.
What the hecky?
As you regain 26 hit points.
Really?
Yes.
I'm at full health?
It's not my fault you have shitty health, okay? You regained 26 hit points. Do you want me to take those back?
I don't know, I don't trust them.
As you run around and you run circles around the devil, you can see as you quote-unquote dance, the crystals around the room start to light up. They're starting to flare brighter. Some of them were bright when, after Saphira had started dancing, but as you sort of start running, they start flaring a little bit brighter. You can see streaks of them. It's almost as if they start pulling from the devil, and you can start to see bits of him starting to almost mist away. And as you run, you can feel that glow, you can feel that warmth in your chest and that sort of hollowness where your soul should be. And you regain those hit points.
Reflexively, Skooka stops dancing in shock.
I look at Skooka. I raise my eyebrows. And I say, nice.
Someone please gift this? Someone please gift this.
Nice.
I don't need it for reaction purposes. I just need it. Cepheus, make me a death saving throw.
Yeah, how to do that.
Funsies, I'm imposing disadvantage.
Can you impose disadvantage or advantage on death saves?
If it's a gifted advantage and disadvantage, yeah.
Someone spent money, sure, why not? Don't worry, I'll save you.
I see how it is, Mackenzie. A 17 or a 19.
Okay, you pass.
Yeah, I hope so.
Why are you so angry?
Oh, don't death saves add constitution mod?
No.
Thing?
Nope, they're straight rolls. You're still pass. You just need to get
Either
a 10
way,
or higher.
17 and 19.
Yeah, you pass
Yeah,
one. You get one successful death save.
I did it.
Don't be
You did
salty
it.
at me. Wow, rude. Jasira, it's your turn.
I mean, using your imposed disadvantages on death saves is a little below the belt. But
Is
that's
it?
okay.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
Just hold on to your butts. I'm saving one for something special.
I am going to dive past the devil,
Mm-hmm.
not provoking an opportunity attack because I'm not moving away from the devil. I'm just
Yeah, you're
sort of
fine.
going around the devil.
You're fine.
Diving past the devil to my brother, rifling through my brother's things, pulling out that long rest potion.
Yes.
And
Shove it down your brother's gullet.
shoving it down my brother's gullet. As an action, which I know he could drink it as a bonus action if I just slapped him with some lay on hands, but slapping him with a lay on hands is an action anyway, so. As my bonus action, after I give my brother a long rest, I'm going to drink the other potion I have, the superior healing potion, or greater healing, whatever the big one.
Yeah, the beefiest healing potion.
the beefy. I think it's what.
I literally don't remember what it was, but it was plus 20. I think it was 10d4 plus 20.
Yeah, yeah. So that rings a bell. I will look it up and roll it. That's the last thing I'm doing on my turn, so you can move on.
Okay, cool. It is back up to Old Scratch. Oh. Okay. Who's the closest to Old Scratch right now? Would it be... We'll say it's Kuka, because you were dancing.
I also am adjacent to Old Scratch.
Okay, cool.
Because
Both of you roll...
I think all three of us are.
Actually, you know what? You don't need a roll perception check to notice this. He just does this. He grabs Bubbles' crystal. With one hand. And as he squeezes it, you can start to see it crack.
Wait, he's destroying the crystals.
He's starting to break Bubbles' crystal.
Ah, fuck! Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it!
You were helping him.
Okay,
Not on purpose! I could have sworn I was hindering him.
Okay, I know that like a death save is like your turn, but like, what if you have like action surge?
You, not on this round. Gotta come back around to you.
Like, that's like really weird. Sorry.
Yeah.
He starts
Sorry,
to crack
bro.
Bubbles' crystal.
Have we seen the meme where like it's that man literally too angry to die? I feel like, you know, maybe Cepheus could invoke something.
Too
And you
mad
can
to
start-
die.
Seeing it crack. And you can start seeing some of that, those few flashes of pink start to peter out, and he just holds it up. I wouldn't do anything if I were you.
Hang on a second, hang on a second, hang on a second, hang on a second.
And it's Skuga, it's your turn.
No, hang on. Reaction! I cast shield! No, wait, no, fuck, that only works on yourself. Never mind, never
I
mind.
was like,
Wait!
you are protected
Wait!
from... Okay. Okay.
Look, okay. I'm gonna
Okay.
put this in chat, okay? It doesn't mention self-target. But... could I
Double-handed
cast
spell.
shield on Bubbles' crystal?
I'll allow it.
I do that!
Okay. Is that your turn?
No, that's a reaction.
Okay. Then it is your turn. You can see the parts of the crystal start to heal back. And you can see his grip start to tighten, but he cannot break it any further. He's pissed.
I am gonna stop doing the mosh, and I'm gonna be like, taking off my jacket. What? You're giving up already? I'm gonna start body popping.
Again, someone gift this?
I was just waiting to see where it went.
I'm just starting to body pop. It's working, right?
Somehow, yes. Roll me a performance check.
Using another advantage.
Okay.
Advantage, I haven't heard of it.
24. As you start dancing, those crystals around the room start to glow and glow and glow, and they start taking the forms of people. Things start to emerge from these crystals. You start to see familiar faces sort of surround the room around you. You can see Becca, Jay, or no, not Jay, Jack. Tucker, old classmates, even the professor. Some of them are accompanied with this sort of double image where it's like those magic eye things when you have to cross your eyes in order to see something. That's kind of what it almost looks like. When Jack sort of materializes, there is a moment and her image fizzles and shifts for a moment, and you can see standing next to her a tall, masculine-looking figure with the head of a dog, and his hand is placed on her shoulder, And she just sort of, like, as these look at you, they sort of give you a nod, and they start to glow, and it is as if the storm outside starts to quiet as they start pulling power away from the devil. Roll me a d10 plus your charisma modifier.
Just
You
plus
can use
3.
an advantage on this if you'd like.
Now you're good, fam. 13.
Roll me 13d8.
Oh, Jesus. That's
You put it in
Zoom.
Zoom chat.
That's Zoom right there.
That was definitely Zoom chat.
That's above average.
Surprisingly, he's still standing.
Wait, you can just type /R and it works? I've been typing /ROLL like a sucker this whole time.
Yeah.
You can see as this happens, and you can see these figures, these almost translucent figures, start to glow to the rhythm of your dance. Old Scratch's form starts to disintegrate. You start seeing bits of it fall away. There is like chunks come out of his neck and his skull and his side, and they don't reform. The wing on his back starts to fade out. He is still standing, but he is on his last leg, and he is gripping this stone, and he is going to take his reaction.
That's right. That's right. You can't win against us in a dance-off.
I don't know what's happening. I've realized
What's
I'm the smart
happening?
one.
What's happening is we were raised in the 80s.
Okay.
Dancing is our
He
jam.
uses his reaction and crushes Bubbles' crystal.
No. Okay.
Can I...
Wait.
Wait.
Wait,
It's after my
can we-
turn. Can I reaction to shield again? I've still got 1 sorcery point left.
It'll be a contested roll, mine against yours. I'm imposing disadvantage.
Bring it.
Wait.
He's too lucky and too confident.
No.
I'm using an advantage as well.
Of course you are.
God damn, why is that not a reaction? It should be a... Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to put that in the chat. I'm just
I
looking
don't think
for
that's going to help
options.
us right now.
No, I was looking at something else, okay?
I don't
have
think marriage
sanctuary.
is the answer here.
You know what? You know what, Seth? Maybe if we had gotten married earlier, she would have a higher AC, okay?
Don't put this on me.
Brad, roll me a Christmas saving throw.
A what?
Disadvantage because I Christmas save at disadvantage because I popped it on you.
Me?
No, Skuka, I'm giggling too hard. Stop.
Oh.
Hey, I'm using an advantage. Oof. Barely.
What do you mean, barely?
I still am exhausted, so it was the 18. Just by 2.
I got an 11. You imposed disadvantage.
Oh yeah, never mind. Not barely. I just dangled it in front of you. I'm sorry, that was cruel. You try and cast shield again, and you are too slow on your pop and lock. You are too into this dance, and you try and react. And you can see that magic pass right over the crystal, and then the crystal smashes into the ground.
No. Is it in pieces? Is it broken?
It is broken. Cepheus, it's your turn.
Upon seeing this, Cepheus is going to rage again. Because nothing makes him more angry than, crushing the crystallized remains of your friends.
Okay,
Yeah, and take 2...
take your attacks. You can see as he crushes this crystal under the ground, you can see something rise up out of it, but it doesn't take a form. It gets stuck directly into his form, and you can see bits of it start to reassemble.
I'm going to take these as reckless attacks.
Okay.
28, not 20. and a 19.
Nats, both will hit. Do you want to do effect or double damage?
Can I that's not gonna. Can I hit him before he finishes taking the soul into his body?
Yeah.
Can I sever that? Can I stop that?
Yes, you can. Roll me that
Alright.
damage then.
Be a 15
Okay.
and another. Ooh. Another. Wait. Okay. Never mind. 15 and another 25.
How do you do this?
Oh God. Seth is gonna drive his axe straight from where the nook of the shoulder is. He's gonna bring an overhand arc. Like he's getting off the floor, just seething mad, and drive his axe into that nook, sliding it as far through the thin frame of Old Scratch as he can possibly make it.
And Old Scratch
And then-
falls to his knees.
And Seth is just going to tear into this body.
I will say, because you reduced him to 0 hit points, you can take as many attacks into this.
Oh,
Into
he's
the devil as
he's
you want.
swinging, and it's gross. This is a big axe, and that's a small man.
He is. And you swing at him, and you swing, and you swing, and you swing. And as you go, there's still a smile on his face, but it is almost sad. But he just sort of looks up at you before you take a final swing into him. And there is just sort of resigned sigh. I was so close this time. And you take one last swing, and he disappears into dust.
War. Where's death?
There.
Where's death?
I'm trying. Roll me a strength saving throw.
With advantage.
Okay.
28, natural 20.
You can feel it is almost as if you push War. And there's a moment where you two, your minds almost interlock, and you can see what War sees with a nat 20. And you can see the remains of the crystal on the ground starting to sort of glow with that faint black energy. You can see death sort of starting to reform as the storm outside starts to quiet. You cannot see bubbles. You see instead the form of death, a sort of tall man, long black hair, a very angular face, sort of in a gray shirt with a black vest, sort of standing there confused. And as the rest of you sort of watch Cepheus start taking and just drive the devil into the ground, you see the crystals around the room start to glow again, but not as intensely, this sort of softer glow. And you start seeing them shoot off through the windows like stars. The storm around the library, a rumbling that you didn't even hear before because it was just there constantly quiets, and it's almost as if the clouds themselves start turning in the opposite direction. You can see these things streak out over the remains of Old Hyperion, and it's almost as if a clock starts turning backwards, and you can see buildings start to reform. You can see shadows start appearing on the ground, and then bodies, people who are standing, just reappearing and starting to move about their daily lives again as these souls sort of streak out. You can see your friends. You can see Becca and Jack sort of nod at you. Becca with slightly more approval than Jack. Jack is slightly more reluctant and almost surprised as she looks at Skuka and the rest of you before disappearing off with that jackal-headed man by her side. Becca leaves with a tall, austere woman with a peacock at her side, and they shoot off across as well. Cepheus, you can see where death would be. You can also see as you connect with war, you can see Famine sort of drifting back through the window with a faint figure in hand. Skuka and Sasira, as you watch and you see Seppi sort of bend over these broken crystals, you can sort of see very faintly that same image I described, that tall man with longer hair, gray shirt, and a black vest standing there. And you can also see the faint image of Famine with something in its hand sort of drift through the window towards the three of you. You cannot see Bubbles anywhere.
Death, can you hear me? Can he hear me? War.
You can see Death sort of nod, and he tries to move his mouth, but nothing comes out. I can hear him. I think we gotta go.
Can he take us to her?
There is a pause, and you can see Death sort of cock his head and sigh and shake his head.
And there's nothing else left to do.
Skuka, roll me a perception check. I will give you an advantage or an auto success if you want.
I have an auto success, and I'll use it if I can.
Okay. Do you notice two things? The first is Famine, sort of drifting very, very faintly, sort of through one of the broken windows. And they hold out the remains of your soul crystal to you. And they're sort of wavering there, almost like a mirage in the desert. The second thing you notice is that as you're sort of standing there and looking around as things start to slowly reform, the ring on your finger starts to glow.
I ignore Famine,
look
but
at it?
look at the ring.
What?
I ignore Famine, but look at the ring.
You can see there is a brief moment. On an auto success, I'll give you this. There is a brief moment where, as you sort of feel this ring, there's a flash of pink out of the corner of your eye. And for the briefest second, you swear you see Bubbles. And just like that, she's gone. Your ring is still glowing down, and if you look at it closely, what was once that thin band of rose gold intersecting the middle of it has turned into lettering. It says, "See you soon."
Tef
And you
is going to
can
reach
feel-
into his breast pocket, and he's going to pull up the letter that was left for him.
Okay.
Sorry if I cut you off. You can
I was
wait
just going
if
to say
you'd
the
like.
ring feels warm, and then it goes cold. You open the letter. You read it, I'm assuming? It says,
To the best of Seth's abilities, he is reading.
"My dearest Cepheus, I am so incredibly proud of you. I knew you could save the world. I always knew. I thought that it was just a coincidence that brought us together, not M or Satan. But now I know that it was fate. It was honestly fate. I think I was meant to come into your life and help you realize who you were meant to be. You were also fated to show me what I needed. Please don't ever in your life think that all your worth comes from your physical strength. You are the gentlest soul I've ever loved. I don't think you were ever born to fight. You were born to love and be loved. And I want you to know how loved you are by everyone you come into contact with, especially me. You taught me that I deserve friendship, and I never would have imagined being worthy of a friendship like yours. You are probably the best student and friend I will ever have. I hate to have left you before our lessons were complete. Don't forget to keep learning. Knowledge is one of the most powerful weapons you will ever wield, my protector. Don't ever let them tell you you can't learn. Prove them wrong every chance you get. I will come back to you. I have to. I don't think I could live without you. Please be safe. Bubbles Dastel.
He's gonna
I'm-
fold it up and put it back in the envelope and put it in his breast pocket again. And just kind of
As
sit
you
there.
put it back in your pocket, you feel almost a weight lift from your chest, and you can see sort of rising from you a figure very faintly outlined in red, feminine in appearance, very muscular, broad-shouldered, almost as tall as you, a long sword by her side.
Are you leaving?
And war nods. Sisira,
Well.
you were saying something.
Just that I would like Talos to read the letter.
Want to open your letter? Okay. It says, Dear Sisira, you've done it! I'm so proud of you. And not just because you've officially saved the world. I watched you stand up to your greatest fears. I'm glad that I got to hold your hand while you stood up to your father. You're so strong, and I am so weak. But I'm glad in that moment I was able to give you a little more strength. Your fists can only do so much damage. You are a wonderful dancer, and I never want you to stop dancing. Let yourself be free, free from his control. You've been working so hard to protect Seth from him, and I think you've walled up your heart. You're starting to take that wall down, and I would love to see your heart set free. I know that photo of your wedding in my childhood home was real. I cannot wait to see you dance with your lover without reservations. I cannot wait to see that smile. I hated to leave you, but I knew that my place was here, learning and getting to spend time with my mother. I know that I will find my way back to you all because you're my family. Thank you for protecting my heart. I know that when it came to heartbreak, you were shielding me from the full brunt of the damage when it came to losing Suka. I never thanked you for that, and I'm sorry. I hope that I will soon be able to embrace you with the hug you deserve. Maybe we can dance again, and this time maybe something faster than a waltz. Stay safe. Bubbles Dastel.
Heck.
And you too see the glow from your fist sort of diminish, and you feel a weight lift from your chest as a faint figure outlined in white steps out. Sort of a hunched figure with like that necrotic damage you associate with your rights now just sort of marred across its face. But it doesn't look, it's not terrifying. It's just sort of there, and it just sort of nods and goes to stand over with war and the faint image of death. And Famine sort of looks over at you, Skuka, and holds out the remains of your crystal.
Separated from his crystal as he is, Skuka, numbed to the feelings of sadness that accompany the ring. Sometimes the body does things without your brain having any know-how or say in what's happening. I think a tear runs down Skuka's cheek for the sadness that he doesn't feel and feels he should. He's gonna walk over towards Famine, and he's gonna take the crystal, but he's gonna resist any magical effect of it.
Okay.
And he is not opening his letter right now.
Okay. You can take your crystal, and I'm assuming it doesn't do anything. You can actually see it sort of, you take the remains of it, and it sort of reforms into like a pendant on a necklace.
Yeah, he doesn't put it on, he just puts it in his pocket.
Okay.
There's,
And
despite the fact that, like, he knows he's crying and that clearly there's a lot of sadness going on, he's taken a lot of comfort in the fact that in here at the minute he doesn't have to feel all these things, and he knows he's gonna have to, but he can't feel Bubbles being missing.
roll me a charisma saving throw.
He can't feel the joy of success of beating the devil either. Advantage? Who's her?
Doesn't matter, it's a 19 either way. You can see with that feeling like you should be feeling something. You can see the crystal as it sort of reforms, it sits in your hand, you put it in your pocket. There's a faint sort of splinter in it, but you are able to resist that sort of swell of emotions. And Famine sort of just nods at you and goes to stand with the other four. And as you can watch, as the rest of Old Hyperion starts to reform in the background, and you can see, once again, a sunset you didn't know was missing. And you can see these four horsemen sort of look at you. They kind of nod. And they too start to disappear. And soon enough, you are left alone in a library. The windows themselves start to reform. The bookshelves start to almost become unburnt, as if they are rewinding in time itself, as if all this destruction is just being reversed into creation. And you are alone.
Now what?
Back to normal, I guess.
I don't know if I can do that.
Don't know if I can do much of anything after all this. But you, Sarah.
Josh, you're too far away from the mic. I can't actually hear you.
That's because I'm not speaking very loud. I said, I don't know. I don't know.
Look, we just saved the world, right? I think that entitles us to a couple of days off school.
Yeah,
Take the car and just drive somewhere.
sure.
Perhaps you could go to the beach. Bubbles like the beach.
Yeah, she did.
Do you walk out of the library?
Yeah.
Hi.
The pieces of the crystal that contained her soul, that was shattered by the devil, did those vanish, or are they still there?
They're still on the ground.
I'd like to gather them up.
Okay. You gather them up. They're very fragile. As if you pick them up, they almost sort of crumble to sand in your hand.
I very carefully pick them up, and I'll use an auto success to make them not crumble if I have to.
Okay,
cast
you can use an
mending.
auto success.
Oh shit! I
You
didn't
cast
take it on
mending?
this. I didn't take it on this character. God damn it! No.
Okay, well,
You do not cast mending.
I cast Sanctuary on the crystal pieces. And it only lasts a minute. But I mean, I'll burn all of my spell slots to keep it going until we find a better container to put these pieces in.
You do have an empty bottle that you did just chug a potion from.
Correct. All right, I will put them in the empty bottle and cork it shut.
As you all sort of walk out of the library, everyone make me perception checks. For reasons, Stuka and Cicera, you can take either one of my auto successes or one of my advantages if you would like.
I will use an auto success.
I'll use one of your advantages.
I use straight roll 11.
This,
I'm also
Cepheus, you don't-
exhausted for so it would have been an 11 anyway.
Cepheus, you don't entirely notice this. You're just tired, and you don't have that voice in your head anymore. And for some, it feels emptier that way. But Skuka and Cicera, as you sort of move out of the library and start walking to where you left your car, you notice a couple of things. Cicera, as you sort of have this bottle with the crystals in your hand, You notice that when you turn down certain corners and head in certain directions, you can feel it flare with light, but then as you turn the other way, it starts to dim. Skuka, as you walk along, you can feel that ring on your finger grow warm, and that lettering that says "See you soon" on it glow. But then as you turn in the opposite direction, it grows cold, and then you turn in the previous direction, it starts to grow warm again.
Wait.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah. We need to go this way. We need to go this way now.
Take the car, it'll be quicker.
Yeah.
You can drive.
All right, I will. I'll burn an auto success on starting it up.
Okay, you burn an auto success and start up that car. I have a question. If Sierra is driving, who is doing the hot cold? Is that Skuka?
Aye.
Okay. I'm not gonna do a right, left, hot, cold thing because it's gonna take too long. So I'm just going to have you roll. This is tracking, so it'll be a survival check, and I am imposing disadvantage.
Rude.
Rude. You're imposing disadvantage.
Yes.
5.
Survival check, right?
Yeah. Not for you because you're driving.
Oh, okay.
It was just for Skuka because Skuka's directing you. And you drive. You can see the sun has already set, and the stars are starting to come out, and you can follow this. Thankfully, it's a game of hot and cold, so it's not super difficult. And as you drive, both you and Tessira, as you drive, you can, and even Cepheus at times, you can see flashes of pink in the corner of your vision, and sometimes as the ring sort of flares with warmth and that vial of those crystals glows brightly, you can see sometimes almost an echo of bubbles walking along the sidewalks as you drive and disappearing just as quickly. And again, the ring, it goes cold, and you turn again, trying to find that warmth again, and you can do that. And you chase and chase and chase across the city, running after these echoes, every time always silent. And then, as the car starts to putter out, and you run out of gas, funnily enough, in front of the grounds, Bubbles' favorite coffee shop, you see one last echo occur. Slightly more stable this time. Sort of crouched on the ground as if studying something. And this time, this echo stays.
Dev is gonna approach it slowly, almost disbelieving his own vision.
Roll me a perception check.
Oh boy, might as well use advantage because I have disadvantage. 17.
Okay.
Actually, wait, that's a straight roll,
No,
so
it's straight
20.
roll, not 20, yeah.
Hey, look at that.
Hey. On a nat 20, I will give you this much. As you approach this slowly, you notice a couple of things. The first is that she's looking at something that doesn't appear, that you cannot see, but has her interest. She is studying something on the ground. You also notice that she physically isn't there. You can still see through her. It is translucent. What are the other two of you
crouch
doing?
beside her?
Took her wait a second in the car.
I'm gonna join my brother.
Okay. Skook, are you watching from the car, or are you just sitting there?
Before we do this, I'm gonna take out my letter.
Okay. I'm assuming you read it, right?
I was taking out to burn it.
Yeah, Sacred Flame. No. I'm gonna hold it for a long second.
Okay.
And then read it.
It reads, Skuka, The last time I saw you, you were walking away. My greatest fear was to lose you, and I half pushed you away. You also left on your own accord, removing yourself from those who truly love you. We're not like your family. You don't have to run from us. I hope that since you're reading this letter that you've made your way back to our planet of misfits. I pray that you read this letter. In the well, as her friends began to forget your face, and in horror I too started to lose you bit by bit, my last memory was our first kiss together under the willow tree. You listened to me. You made me feel loved. No one has made me feel that way since my mother. Thank you. I want you to know that something inside me will always love you, but I realize that we are both not ready to be with each other. Not yet. But that doesn't mean I don't want you to be happy. I think you've been running from it all this time, running to the next mindless endorphin rush, to the next teenage kicks, and running from anyone that could give you any lasting happiness. I wish you wouldn't do that to yourself. You deserve good. Don't let anyone ever make you think you deserve anything less. So you've been doesn't define who you will always be. You belong with Cicera, Cepheus, and me. Let us be your home. Yours always, Bubbles Dastel.
I think Skooka reads it twice. Sitting there, kind of numb. Shaky hand is gonna pull that amulet from his pocket now.
Mhm.
And he's gonna put it on or press it into his chest or crush it or whatever the hell he needs to do.
As you push it against your chest, it almost dissipates like sand. And that sort of faint reddish greenish gem just sort of almost disappears into you. And you feel all at once the joy of saving the world and the sadness of losing Bubbles, like a punch in the chest.
There's gonna definitely be a small cry of pain. And then Skooka will get up and follow Cepheus and Cicera wherever they went, with tears streaming down his face.
They are standing outside, and you can see Bubbles is still not responding to your presence. She's just studying something. You can see there's a book at her side, and she can see your bag of holding Cepheus on her shoulder. And she sort of pulls out a book you don't recognize, and she sort of clicks a pen and starts writing stuff down.
He's not trying to interact or stop her. He's just watching and kind of enjoying sitting beside and just
What about
feeling
the other
like it's still there.
two of you? Jazira, Skooka, are you doing anything?
Standing behind Cepheus and Cicera.
I want to see what it is that she's looking at.
You cannot see anything from where you are.
What if I do this?
You can pop Divine Sense,
Mm-hmm.
and it's weird. The minute you pop Divine Sense, she disappears. As if she's not here entirely.
Damn.
You can watch as she stands up, and there is a moment where she looks over at you. It's almost as if she sees you. And then she sort of, you can see her mouth something. You cannot hear her voice. And she looks behind her as if there is something that has caught her attention. And she moves away. She passes straight through the wall of the grounds.
I go into the grounds.
She passed straight through the wall into the grounds.
I go through the door.
Okay.
What you're about to say? Yeah, I go through the wall.
I mean, if it was the window, yeah. But I don't know. I'm not sure my divine smite is that strong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you go through the door. It is surprisingly unlocked, but there is no one in here, and the normal lights are off, but as you sort of step in and there's a tinkle of the bell and you walk into this essentially dark, empty coffee shop, you can see the pastry case is still lit up, and there are some plants around, and you've never been here at night, but you see some of the plants that sit around the room. They sort of glow with this almost opalescent light. And Tucker, the Furbolg barista who owns this place, is sort of behind the bar, wiping it down, and he looks up at you. Who else walks in?
Yeah, last.
Okay. He looks up at the three of you. If you look around, Bubbles is nowhere to be seen again.
Steph is going to remember the first day that they started all this. And he's going to kind of scrunch his face and give the unusual, Steph's kind of got an idea, but isn't sure. And he's going to go up to the bookshelf that leads into the back room where the professor's secret place is.
Okay. Do the rest of you follow?
Yeah.
Okay. You open up.
I don't even return the weird looks that we get from the barista. I just go straight.
And you open that thing. Open up that weird circular bookshelf that is made out of a repurposed vanity. And you can see those stairs. And you can go up those stairs. And when you walk back into that room, it was once an absolute chaotic mess with papers and diagrams and books half written in all over. But now as you walk into it, it is completely clean. No more things on the wall. What bookshelves were there are now neatly put away. The desks is completely clean. It's like no one was ever there. And no one is in there when you walk up.
Oops. Seth looks absolutely defeated.
There's a faint sort of on the wall. And you see Tucker standing there. Sort of still wiping a glass in his hand. You're not gonna find her there.
Oh?
Where?
Suppose you know where she is then?
You wanna go have a cup of tea or something? It'll be on the house.
Yeah.
He sort of gestures for the three of you to join him down the stairs.
Yeah.
Follow him down the stairs, and you can see these. As you look at these plants, there's something familiar about them. The way they glow with this opalescent wood. Very similar to those pieces that started this journey in the first place. And as you walk, Tucker just sort of waves his hand, and three mugs sort of just fly telekinetically onto the thing. He sort of waves his hand again, and you can see tea kettles and tea bags sort of fill themselves up, just sort of lazily, and he reaches into the pastry case and pulls out a couple of pastries, some cookies, and sort of puts them out in front of you. sits on the opposite side of the counter. I don't know where she is exactly, but I know she ain't here. Oh, here on this plane, I suppose, is the more specific thing.
But she's alive then.
He pauses for a second. Yeah,
She exists.
alive. Yeah. She's living. She's doing real well. She's not ready yet, but she's getting there.
Okay.
She'll come back to you.
She led us here. What does she want us to do?
I think. And he sort of reaches over and puts a hand on yours. I think she wants you to keep living.
All right.
Keep going.
A lot of books here. This is one of Bubble's favorite
Yeah.
places to study.
I know. She was one of my regulars. It's gonna be a little weird not having her around for a while.
Might be her way of telling us to stay in school.
That would be something
You
she'd
would
say.
think. You would think saving the world gets us straight A's for the rest of time or something like that.
I don't think it quite works like that. Perhaps we might get an honorary degree in, like, I don't know, devil slaying or something, but it's not going to look great for our job prospects. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, at least our rent is probably paid for the next year.
Yeah, that was part of the deal, right?
Yeah. God.
She'll come back when she's ready.
How do you know?
He sort of looks over his shoulder to a picture in a very, very battered frame that sort of just has sat behind the barista counter for the longest time. And as he does, you can see him sort of fumble with the wedding band on his finger. Part of life is the losing. Sometimes you got to let the things you love go so they can come back to you. And do any of you look at the picture that he looks over at?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It is a wedding picture. It looks older than time itself. Sort of that faded sepia tone. And it looks like it's torn in the middle and singed at the edges. It looks like it has lived eons. And in that picture, you can see Tucker and another man. And you can see that rip sort of in between the two of them. The other man is an older gentleman with short cropped hair and a long coat.
Do we recognize the person? I feel like that description is familiar to me, but
He looks very similar to the person you drove your axe into.
now I feel bad.
What did you say, Zelda?
Nothing.
How does Seth look at this?
first you see, which might sound bad, but there's an obvious, not disgusted look, but like a mix of shock and almost, I don't know, mildly terrified. And it flashes so quickly before, like, the realization that it is just a picture.
And Tucker sort of laughs a little as he sort of catches your expression out of the corner of his eye. Don't worry, we've had a long-standing disagreement. A long-standing disagreement.
So if you know him, then who are you?
And he winks. Roll me an insight. You could take one of my advantages or auto successes if you'd like. I think I have 1 auto success and like 6 advantages left or something along those lines. I was terrible at keeping track.
You have like 12 left.
God, it's so tempting. I feel like, you know what? I'll take the advantage.
Okay, roll me an insight.
It's perfectly average.
Perfectly average.
As all things should be.
Perfectly balanced as all things should be. And he sort of just grins at you, and there is a moment as when you look at this Furbolg, and he just sort of gives you this warm smile and winks. You can sense that this Furbolg, despite how young he looks, is ancient. Older than time itself. There is almost a wave of energy that passes over you. It isn't a bad thing, but it is sort of this calm. A sense of love and peace and warmth, unlike anything you've ever felt. It doesn't necessarily negate the sadness you feel, but it's reassuring in that sense. And as you look around and you see these plants sort of glow with that same light as the world tree and their pots around the room, you see the way Tucker just sort of waves his hand and things happen. He's not just a god. He is God.
So, the devil runs amok.
He always tries to find his way back to me.
I have no more concern for him. There's only one thing I care about.
Cicera pulls out the potion bottle with the empty, with the shards.
Josh, you gotta get closer to the mic and talk louder.
Sorry, Cicera pulls out the potion bottle with the shards in it.
Huh?
Cicera pulls out the potion bottle.
Yes, I heard you. Do you do anything else?
I just take it out and I hold it out.
It's not
he's at a
glowing
loss
as
for
brightly as
words.
it did. It's sort of flickering gently. There's a warmth in your hand.
Guka has gone over to one of the shelves.
Okay.
He's looking through the books.
What are you looking for?
9th level wizard and sorcery spells.
Roll me an investigation and I'm imposing disadvantage.
Rude.
They were gifted. Gotta use them.
Rude.
Time for double nat 20.
So close.
That's your third nat 20.
Impose disadvantage.
I know. It hurts, doesn't it? You look. You find some spellbooks, find some scrolls. Can't find what you're looking for, though. I will say, though, in a 16, you can find a couple post-it notes stuck in some of the books, sort of half forgotten. You recognize the handwriting on them. They're pages, little tags that Bubbles left when she was studying.
As much as I'd love to reminisce and think about it, Scratticus gonna start studying.
Okay.
He's studying to try and figure out a spell that'll bring Bubbles back.
Okay.
It's been one of his traits since the very beginning. If it matters, then he'll study.
And you can. Is there anything else anyone would like to do in this coffee shop?
Sierra's at a loss.
Okay. Skuka?
He wants to do something, but he doesn't know what to do.
Tucker sort of looks over at the three of you. Gives you sort of a sad smile. Well, I'm gonna go clean up the little left of his mess that he always leaves. You can stay as long as you want. I trust y'all to lock up. And he sort of just leaves his keys on the counter. And there's a tinkle of the bell on the door as he walks out. And Skuka, you can study. You can study and study and study. Study for days. Study for weeks. Study for months. Study for years. And soon, before you can even realize it fully, you are all getting ready to graduate and leave Hollenbeck-Moore University and go on to whatever phase of your life is next. And I want to take a moment and look at what happens to all our characters during those 3 or so years between now and graduation. I want to end with Skuka. So I won't put anyone on the spot though. So Cicera or Seppius, it's up to you who goes.
Cicera, Cicera learns to dance properly. Maybe takes a dance class if it's offered at the school as one of his electives. He doesn't care so much about trying to be cool anymore, which he definitely used to. Now he's out to spread the goodness that he's got inside of him. He kind of becomes the pacifist, the guy who's known for punching people really hard, kind of stops fighting altogether. And he just goes and tries to focus on spreading the positivity. He tries to do what he thinks Raven would do. Bubbles would do if she was still here. And he stays close to Cepheus and Skuka through the rest of the 3 years. He I want to say that he passes, but he doesn't really pass necessarily with best marks. He stopped focusing on, well, not that he never really focused on school. He never cared too much about school, but now it's like I want to say that his academics are not the priority to him as much as using his time in school to help those around him.
Okay.
He, through it all, tries to stay positive because he's spreading positivity, but behind that strong exterior, as we've learned about Cicera, behind that strong exterior, he's a mess on the inside, and that hasn't really changed so much as it's been refocused. Now he's not staying strong on the outside because he's afraid of showing his inner feelings. Rather, now he's using those skills, using that wall that he had built up all these years to help support or hold up other people.
What do you do with the vial of sand or shards?
He hangs on to it. Somewhere in the back of his mind, he thinks he can use that to find Bubbles or bring her back. He doesn't necessarily know how, but he keeps it, hoping that one day it might lead him to her.
I will say there is one day when, through one of your dance classes, it's always kind of a requirement that you have to do recital. And you kind of put that vial in your dressing room. And as you kind of sort of finish your last performance, perhaps even your last performance with the school, you can kind of look over at this vial, and there's a moment where just sort of it shimmers faintly. It does this very similarly almost every recital, but every time it just sort of seems like a trick of the light because it doesn't last very long. But this time it sort of stays, and you can feel almost emanating from it this warmth of pride.
I don't even care if he looks silly, but just says thank you to the bottle. Thank you.
It's silent, but you can feel it. Cepheus, what about you?
For a lot of it, I guess Cepheus falls back into kind of a routine, although some things added to it. He's been continuing to work on his studies as best as he is able, and probably found a few tips and tricks from Bubbles still laying around in his room, whether it's like checklists or notes or her old books or whatever was left. Basically, I'll pick it up from you tomorrow kind of thing. And
there is a moment very recent, very soon after you save the world ending, where there is a knock on your dorm room door. And when you open it, Becca is there with a big cardboard box. And you can see inside there are stacks of books, notebooks.
Hey, Rebecca, right?
Becca, yeah.
Sorry, I'm not good with names.
No worries. I was never good with them anyways. I think Bubbles left this here for you. He sort of drops this massive cardboard box filled with books, sort of at your over your doorstep. That was everything I could find that had your name on it, had your notes in it. I tried to do what I could to salvage most of it.
No, it's really appreciated. Actually, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Doing again. I'm not really good with feelings, but are you okay?
I know there's a time that I will be okay, and I'm just waiting for it to come.
She sort of nods. Again, not great with feelings, but if you ever need someone to talk or just shoot shit with, give me a call.
Yeah.
You were the only person I trusted enough to go in and out of the dorms without, me hovering over their shoulders, so. You seem cool, and, she liked you, so I should pass that on.
It's funny because Seth seems both surprised and then in the same breath just kind of very unsurprised that he did not make it past her watchful eye. Just as she says this, it's just oh yeah, probably did not. Probably did cause some kind of commotion. Whether someone else saw and told her or...
Cepheus, you are a 6'9"?
About
6'5"?
probably
6'9"?
probably by the time these months are over, I'm taller.
You are a tall Minotaur. You did not go unnoticed, my friends.
He tried
you
to
are
sneak.
A big boy.
He did his best to sneak.
He did his best. And Becca leaves. Leaves you with those books.
Over time, he's gonna make his way through those books, reading them. And even if it's not pertaining to any class or anything that he's taking, he spends the time to go through them, go through the notes, everything that was left. Anything that pertains to the well. He's been looking and looking for anything that can lead him to this. And he's been trying to talk to Bubbles' patron about it as well.
Ooh. Roll me. If you want to try, you read through Bubbles' journal and you encounter a couple notes about her patron. Bubbles never really knew a lot, but she did keep a journal. And there were moments where Bubbles would write out these journal entries, and it was almost as if there are different colors of ink that suddenly go across the page, a different color of handwriting. You can sort of tell this was written to her patron. They aren't necessarily the most informational messages. It's a lot of leave me alone, followed up with a response of no, I'm trying to help, or no, this is fun. But you do have that journal now.
Yeah, he's gonna try and make a stop in every once in a while and see if her patron has had any contact, anything, heard anything, know anything.
Do you write in the journal?
Yeah, and his writing is obviously not Bubbles' writing. Very, very plain as day.
Okay.
It's printing, and it is the most, like, all capitals kind of printing.
Oh, so me. Okay. Rude.
Hey.
What do you write the first time you write in the journal?
Are you still here? The question mark.
There is a shimmer and then sort of this greenish gold ink Luffy sort of cursive appears on the page. Yes, it says, and then there's a pause, and then another line appears. You're not her.
Can you tell me about the Chamber of Secrets? Sorry, I had to.
No.
But I can show you. I'm not. I'm a friend. And he just puts that down all in one line.
And there's a shimmer of gold ink, greenish gold ink, and words appear. What happened to her?
She made a choice. And we're all just hoping it pans out for her.
There's a pause, and then the writing again appears. I lost contact with her. I hope she is okay.
I hope so, too.
One more line appears on the page. Do you want my help?
As much as I can get.
Okay. And you can keep that journal with you. You also might, hey, over the years you might multi-class into Warlock, but you know, that's for another time.
And yeah, he's going to keep in contact, and he's going to use all of his free time that he isn't using trying to get through college and pass all his classes, which granted is a long time for someone who learns very, very poorly. But any time that he has spare or free, he'll be spending trying to find books and learn.
And you can report what you find and put it in that journal, and the journal responds as best as it can. It never seems malicious. It always seems genuinely concerned. Always sort of friendly, trying its best. And sometimes you'll get the occasional message where the journal and Bubbles' patron describes getting a flash of her, a brief blip on a radar, knowing that she's somewhere close to the Fey plane, but not entirely there. But every time that happens, the writing in the journal always makes sure to include, she's all right. From what I can tell, she's all right.
That's all I need to hear. I'll be ready when she finds her way back.
Luca, what happens in these years?
Luca doesn't go to any lectures. Luca doesn't go to graduation.
Okay.
Luca doesn't go out drinking, and he doesn't go out clubbing. Skuka pretty much starts living in the library. When the 9th level spellbook doesn't help him out, he realizes he's trying to bite off too much too soon. He can't understand it. So he starts tapering it back. And he probably becomes the most scholarly sorcerer to ever have existed, as he starts studying sorcery properly. He probably scrapes a pass. Probably one of his lecturers or mentors or something would come and pick up the random notes that he makes as he teaches himself higher level spells and things. And you could make something out of it if you wanted to, but it's not going to be a first class pass because, as far as Skook is concerned, that's not important. I think at some point during these few years, he's going to get wind of that wish spell, and that's what he's got his eyes set on.
Okay. So you can study. Mac doesn't know what level sorcerers get 9th level spell slots, so I can't actually figure out if this is realistic.
It's not gonna happen in, it's not gonna happen
I
in
was
3
like, it's
years.
not gonna happen in 3 years, right? Yeah. But you can study, and I will say there is perhaps a professor, one of the magic mechanical professors actually takes an interest in your studies and knows you are smart, knows you have potential, and sort of not discreetly, but also knows if he calls you in for a meeting, you're not going to answer. So he just sort of arranges things with the provost and the dean of students to get you an independent study course in planar magic, in understanding what works in old Hyperion and what happened. You learn a lot about the world tree. You learn a lot about the well. In fact, you probably become one of the most knowledgeable people on this plane about that location. For most, it was just a myth, but the fact that you visited there and your ability to find these esoteric texts about it, you are able to learn about it, and you're able to read and study. You are never able to find that spell and learn that spell. And maybe there are times where you attempt to cast it and you just feel your magic sort of fizzle out. But you learn and learn. And with a little bit of help from that professor, and a lot of help from the independent study course and winging what a study is, you still end up passing. I do have one more question for you. What do you do with the ring?
Right there. Well, actually, the camera's reversed, so that does work. Right hand.
For all the years?
Yeah.
Okay. There are moments when you're studying. You can see that ring on your finger, and sometimes you feel it again sort of flare with that warmth. You can see the words on the ring glow. See you soon. Every time it glows warm, there is a flicker of pink in the corner of your eye, and every so often you can turn just in time to see an echo of bubbles. It's a faint image. It never really seems to be entirely there. It's always silent. And you can see her out of the corner of your eye. Sometimes she's bent over writing something in a book you don't recognize, but you always recognize the knapsack on her shoulder, the tattered hems, and the Tupperwares that Cepheus carried. You can see her hair start to grow longer and she starts pulling it back. You can start to see her grow older as you grow older. Sometimes it seems like she looks at you, and there are moments where you make eye contact and she tries to say something, but it is always silent, and her image disappears soon after that. And there is a moment as you are sitting buried in your pile of books, as Cepheus and Cicera start getting ready for graduation, that you feel that ring grow warm again. Roll me a perception check.
Not bad.
Not bad. You look around the room. You see Cepheus and Cicera helping each other with their graduation robes, tying their ties, getting ready to leave. You're not going though, but you did technically graduate. You don't really need to go. It's just sort of an obligation.
That's
You don't-
valuable studying time.
You don't see anything. But for the first time in many years, you hear a familiar voice.
Skaka? Skaka, are you there?
And that is where we're ending Apotheosis.
Fuck!
And yes, that was Raven.
Did Zelda die? What happened to Zelda? Oh, okay. There's.
I might have realized you can import audio into Roll20. Zelda, are you okay? Is everyone okay? Real good?
Well, everyone, that was Apotheosis. Thank you all for coming on this journey with us. Why don't we go around and just talk about our favorite part of the season? Zelda, hey.
Hey. Am I starting?
Yeah? What was your favorite part? Don't worry about, like, credits. We've got credits for that, but, like...
I mean, despite like the character interactions and all the things that go through, like dealing with all of our fears and desires and going through everything and it being so wonderfully put together and narrated by our dear DM Mackenzie, who has well, I mean, I want to say it feels like she wrote and rewrote part of this campaign very severely, but I know better to think that Mackenzie wrote everything down. I feel like a lot of it was just expertly handled and handed to us. And I mean, just as a narrated piece, as a standalone, I'm having a hard time talking. Just, I don't know, just amazing. I mean, I had my realization that Mackenzie is not just a good DM, she is an amazing DM through this, and she really did do exactly what DM should do, and not with just story, but like character interactions and enforcing and supporting these character interactions in a way that gives all of us such life into our characters. And that life is also one of my favorite things, just all of it, just as a whole.
Thank you, Zelda.
You're very welcome. I loved all your characters. Okay.
Hey, Josh.
Hey. Wow. Wow. I was not prepared to hear Raven's voice come over the speakers.
Valid.
Yeah. Favorite part of the whole campaign, eh? Part of me wants to say this episode. Part of me wants to say the showdown with Scratch. Part of me wants to say the last 2 minutes of the show. But I think if I have to pick an absolute favorite part, it would probably be when we were down in the well, because that was the last time the four of us were really together, and it was at a point. It was at a point where we were confronting all of our own inner demons and outer demons at the same time. It was a point where the plot was finally coming into full view. And it was just a moment. It was a moment of growth for our characters individually and as a team. And yeah, so that's probably my favorite part. It's hard to pick a favorite part. I love the whole thing. I loved Mac as a DM. I also loved all of Scrat and Zelda and Raven. We really were blessed with this cast, I think, because we were all so good together. And yeah, I'm a little broken up right now. but yeah. My favorite stuff is just the four of us interacting together and doing the things that we did.
For me, I really enjoyed when we all went back to the to our place above the bar with no name for the first time, and we got attacked by snakes and stuff, because we just all had like interactions. I think you said afterwards, Josh, about me having interactions with like everyone that episode or something like that, and that being like a real highlight for me as a character to be with everyone. But my absolute...
you had a one-on-one moment with each character. Yeah.
My absolute favorite thing about this whole campaign is just how ready you are, Mackenzie, to engage with people about their characters outside of the game. Like, hey, I've got this idea about what this character would believe because, you know, they're a monster raised by monsters, you know, like, can I bounce this off you? And you're just like, yes, enable this, we're gonna do this, we're not gonna do this, but we will do this. And like, the whole dancing with the devil thing, I mean, I know Cicera literally danced with the devil, but I feel like in those few episodes in the middle there, Luca was kind of metaphorically dancing with the devil in that test of will sort of thing, and I really appreciated that. That was good for me and my soul. Hey, Mac, what was your favorite bit?
Okay, I'm gonna cheat because I'm the DM. I'm gonna say a favorite part for like every single one of the characters, because I have favorite moments for like all the characters, and then like my favorite thing to do as a DM. So with Raven, my favorite part with playing with Raven and playing with Bubbles was the house in the well and playing off the memories. And the first time the piano theme came in. My other favorite thing with Raven was basically going to her one day and being like, hey, I just realized something. I could import audio into Roll20. Do you want to record something and be heartbreaking with me? And she goes, yes. And I do actually have full versions of the messages she recorded, and I will play them for you all. I will send them all to you later. because you should listen to the full thing. I cut it down because I wasn't sure if we were gonna do the time skip at the end or not, and I had to fix that. Favorite moment with Josh was either the leaving behind the hairspray, saying dance off with a completely straight face, or my favorite moment to play with you was facing off with your dad, because that was a lot of fun. That was cathartic for me as a person, and it was so awesome watching you stand up to that and stand up to toxic masculinity embodied, and it was great. Zelda, every moment we interrupted the intro will live on in my heart. Even the moment where you weren't here and I messaged the rest of the cast and I was like, we're gonna mess up the intro because Zelda isn't here, right? My other favorite moment with Zelda will always be Tiny Copperpiece. Tiny Copperpiece will live on, and I literally started crying tears of laughter. It was so funny. Also getting yeeted at a bird. Frickin' the yeet. And Scrat. My favorite moment with you was quietly planning the quick change you did in the Well episode, where you changed from the leather jacket to the tie, and co-conspiring with you to do that. The other favorite part was because you weren't on the headphones when everyone else was forgetting you. And so I remember getting a message as you put on your headphones. The last thing you heard when you came back in was Bubbles saying "I love you," and I just get a private Zoom message that's just, fuck.
That happened.
That was great. Yeah. But coordinating that with you and being able to bounce ideas off you and play out that scene with you, that was amazing. And my favorite part as a DM will be episode 8, where everyone said goodbye to Bubbles. I personally, as a DM, I have trouble with doing emotional stuff. I've always had trouble with that. And as people can attest to, as they've watched me be player characters, I have trouble being nice characters. And so having to be Bubbles and having to say goodbye was a challenge for me. And I loved being able to push myself and be in a safe enough space for me to push myself to get into that and give you all closure to letting Bubbles go, but also keeping her forever in the campaign and finding new ways to always integrate her and keep her memory alive and keep Raven involved as much as I could. She did write those letters, and like I said, she did record that ending message for y'all. And so y'all gave me such an awesome safe space to try out this buck wild idea of a retro American Gods D&D that takes a lot of what makes D&D and goes, nope. Takes out the pantheon, takes out the traditional monsters, takes out the traditional setting, and you letting me run with it and letting me sort of go, yeah, fuck the rules, let's have fun, and just letting me have fun in this weird ass sandbox, that was amazing. And I will always, always, always be grateful for this and the world you let me explore. I'm gonna miss y'all.
Yeah. Well, we need a raid cry. Going on a raid. I feel like it should be something Bubbles related.
Seconded.
So I'll take ideas. Whilst we're taking ideas, check out our social links. Also check out our sponsors, The Deck of Many. They have their Humblewood book, which is being released in November. You can pre-order on the website now. And also Magehand Press, Dark Matter. You can see the finale of Argo 37 on Thursday at 1 p.m. Do we have any raid cries? Oh, there we go. There we go. Yep. See you soon. That's it. Nailed it. We'll surround that in the love emote, I think. That only seems right. And that'll be our raid cry. We're gonna go and raid Ascension Stories. You may recognize Matt from our Monday shows, and Matt's gonna be back next season as well. So yeah, we're gonna go and raid them until next time, everyone. Next season we'll be doing different things. Yeah, join us tomorrow for more finales, and until then, keep on evoking emotions. See you later on. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Hey. So long.